We shall now begin with our next session, the role of AR and VR in advancing the AV industry, a session in leveraging AR and VR in the AV industry to design, train, and support. And for this, I would request Sajan Joseph, co-founder and CEO, Control Alt Experience, to take over the conference session. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, welcome everyone. I think I remember you from last year. My name is Sajan Joseph. How many of you are from AV background? AV in the sense not pro audio and lighting and events, but maybe from AV background like corporate, retail. I think most of you are from that kind of background, right? So today what we're going to talk about is the role of AR and VR, okay, and in advancing the AV industry, okay, and we're going to specifically talk about three domains or rather three sections in the AV industry, which is things that you all do regularly: design, training, and support, right? Just before that, you might wonder why I should listen to Sajan Joseph, right? So I just quickly run through what have I done. So I've been in the AV industry since 2009. Okay, we've been with AMX, Crestron, programming services, supporting integrators, and the like. So I've been in the AV industry, and I'm currently involved since 2018 with the Indian Music Experience, which is an interactive museum. I'm on their tech advisory board. And since 2019, Control Alt Experience has started, and we've seek to support consultants, AV integrators with immersive and interactive experiences, right? So that's why you see this two things at the bottom. So experiential technology and AV and how we merge the two, right? So a little bit about Control Alt Experience, right? We help brands tell their stories. We build, immersive experiences. So typically, what used to happen in our industry here is that the first point of contact with a brand is the AV integrator or the IT integrator or an AV consultant. And so what happens is, consultants come or rather the clients come and tell, hey, you know what, I want to put holograms. I want to put, the fanciest, tech that is there. But many times what will happen is the tech becomes redundant after, 6 months. Why? Not because the tech was wrong, or rather there's a wrong technology or a bad technology, but most likely the story that they wanted to say, this was not the right tech for that, right? So that's where we come in, right? We help brands with their experience design. We help brands tell their story. And then post that, we will see what is the tech intervention to that, right? And some of the things that we do is experiences design, interactive software, virtual reality, anamorphic content, and other experiential technology, right? And quickly, these are who we support: consultants, OEMs, systems integrators, agencies, and end clients. And these are some of the sectors. We do events as well, but mostly in corporate, museums, retail, hospitality industries, right? So I just wanted to quickly give you that overview and get it out of the way. So now you know why I'm talking about AR and VR, because that's my domain, right? So what is VR and AR? Can anyone answer? Am I allowed to come down? It'll give feedback? No, right? Yeah, okay. What is VR and AR? Anybody? Virtual reality. Just take a wild guess, or if you don't know, it's okay. You attended last year the session, so you should be able to answer.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's a world which we imagine.
Okay.
But we cannot imagine in open eyes.
Okay.
Means what we say, it's a dream and reality.
Okay.
So where virtual reality comes into existence, where we can explore ourselves into actual view, and we can feel that thing. I can't explain that, but
Okay.
it's virtual reality means something different.
Got it. Something different, some other world, right? And so that's exactly what it is, right? What virtual reality does is it immerses users in a different environment that is not our own, right? So if I were to wear a virtual reality headset right now, I wouldn't see all of you. I would be able to see a different reality, any simulated reality. And that's the beauty of virtual reality, right? Any simulated reality, I could be anywhere in the world. I can be in middle of a fire. I could be training, right? I could be in middle of in a roller coaster. I could be in the moon. I could be anywhere, right? So that's the in that definition itself, you see a lot of advantages in immersing a user in virtual reality, right? If you look at augmented reality means having your existing world, okay, something added to it, like a digital experience added to this world. So if you have used Snapchat, Instagram, I mean that's the basic definition of augmented reality, or not the definition, but rather an example of augmented reality, where you see the filters coming on top of you, you see things that you can play with, which is in front of you. Google Lens has something. If you search for a tiger on your Android phone or a bear, they will say see it in 3D, right? And then you'll see a tiger right in front of you, right? And the similar you have with IKEA, you have with furniture apps, you have with a lot of different applications like that. And that is what augmented reality. So it augments or adds your current reality, right? Virtual reality takes you into a different reality. Augmented reality adds to your current reality, right? So I've just narrowed down these three because these three are the most that we look at. AV industry as a large, and the things that we do in the AV industry, right? So the three things that we primarily do in the AV industry is design, right? We get from a customer, we design the entire schematic for a boardroom, for a conference room, entire campuses. We go for trainings such as this, other trainings, and then you have brand-specific trainings from, say, all the major brands, right? Shure, Sennheiser, AMX, Crestron, whatever, you have brand-specific trainings. And then the last part is, what's after all our BOQs, AMC and support, right? So that's the last bit. So that's an integral part of any AV industry, right? Without support, all those systems would fail. Without support, it cannot run smoothly, right? So these three areas. And today what we're going to talk about is how AR and VR can complement, or rather if you start to use AR and VR in these three segments in your industry, how it will help you, right? So let's just look at just typically what in the design, and most of you design a bit, right, or more. So you would get a scope from a client, you get out the BOQ, you will draw the schematic, CAD drawing, elevated drawings, then line diagrams. Then once it's approved, then you'll have to do the installation diagrams, connectivity diagrams, and all that, right? Then, as Mr. Abdul also said, we have the simulation software for equipment placing, speaker throw, SPL levels, all those things, right? And then I've not seen this too much in India, but some do like 3D renders of how the space is going to look like and show that to a client, but it's very rare, right? These are few of the pain points. Schematics take a long time, design takes a long time, 3D renders take a long time, iteration from 3D renders take a long time. And one of the biggest issues we face also when we are pitching experience centers to clients, most clients cannot visualize. In our heads, we'll think, oh, yeah, it's a display there. We'll put a 21:9 display there. It will handle everything. But a client is non-technical, or rather non-AV. So he cannot understand what is 21:9. He cannot understand what is the size and things like that. And that's where most of our problem arises, right? Especially in the design, in the design phase. So clients struggle to understand what is being delivered. And as you go more and more, see, corporate might not have that much of an issue. Museums, if you go to retail, where there are owners involved, they want to know more. They want to know more exactly what is going to happen there, how my shop is going to look, how my storefront is going to look if I put an active LED there, and things like that, right? So with virtual reality, I'm just going to show you a quick, what do you call it, demo. And I wanted to show videos today because there are ideas and concepts that are already there in the world that is being used, right? And we can just use those in our AV industry. This is done by, how many of you have heard of X10 AV? It's a US based, run by two Indians, Vaibhav and Sahil, and they help with schematic diagrams. They help with so automated workflows, automatic outputs, and things like that. And I think 2023 they came out with a VR version of your BOQ, right? I'm just going to pause here. Do you want me to go slower? Am I too fast? This is fine, okay? Because I feel like I might not take up the whole hour, so that's fine with everyone, right? You can go for an early lunch. So I'm going to play this video. You can see exactly how your design is implemented in VR, right?
Are you tired of designing and selling AV systems the same old way? Let's make it a lot more fun and realistic. Introducing Xverse by X10 AV. Groundbreaking VR technology that will enable you to visualize and experience your spaces in real time. Let's check out this meeting room in Xverse. You can customize the room according to your needs, all right here. In Xverse, change and play with the room aesthetics. Customize the room walls, ceiling, chairs, floor, tables, and decor. Let's show you how. Xverse offers you 4 different types of modes to visualize your devices in: Edit mode, Coverage mode, Sightlines, and SPL mode. Here we can see that this single microphone doesn't offer enough coverage for all the seats. Let's add another microphone. And as you can see, it's perfect now. It's that simple. Let's check out ceiling speaker coverages. We can move any products to an ideal location. There's more. We even have an SPL mode. Check out the sound pressure levels for your audio devices. And the Sightlines mode. Visualize sightlines, viewing angles in the Xverse immersive experience. Xverse helps you to select the right product for the right environment. For example, this is a narrow angle camera, unable to cover all the participants. So let's go ahead and change it to a different product. There you go. It is now perfect. Meeting rooms customized to exactly how you like, in half the time. And honestly, it's all really fun. We can design all kinds of AV spaces, like classrooms, immersive rooms, and more. Once you complete your AV designs in Xverse, you get your automated 2D designs in Xdraw, saving a ton of time for your designers. And that's not all. If you have your own space designed as a 3D render, bring it into the Xverse environment and visualize it in real time.
Wasn't that a fun way to design your AV? Sorry, is it Jacob from Leviathan? Yeah, hi. So, so different from the ways that we've been designing right? And this is where the world is going to. And it's not saying that, okay, you know what, I can manage, chalta hai, I can manage with whatever I have. It's not about that. It's about efficiency, right? If you give a BOQ faster, if you give something faster to a client, right? Or if you give something that can help you design faster, then your resources are used for what matters most, right? If they are stuck in designing, if they are stuck in creating 3D layouts, and imagine if bringing a client into that environment space, right? It's so much fun. I'm saying the word fun, but because they're immersed in it, they can see exactly how their room is going to look like and exactly what is the arrangement of it. And so their buy-in is more. So if you go to in a tender process, right? Who are they going to pick? If of all costs are same, who are they going to pick, right? Because somewhere they've experienced something different, right? So this is augmented reality. Like I mentioned before, virtual is, the other one took you to a completely virtual world. And in this particular use case, what happens is you can see it's an empty room, right? I mean, it's just being constructed. But what happens is they scan it, and then through their tablet, they can see how the room looks like. So imagine if you're going to a site, and most of our BOQs and everything comes at construction phase, right? We have to do the conduiting and all those things. And so at that phase, how does a client see what does it look like, right? So here's an example of that. So this is empty right now, and after he scans that, tables appear, and paintings and how the room would look like otherwise. So this helps a lot, especially if you want to take, say, for example, you have some TV display models, okay, and you're at the client side. You can immediately take a tablet and then push it onto the wall. This is another one where it's a rack room. So it's not, nothing is there, but now a rack will appear. So you can show the client, okay, this is the space, this is how your racks would be, and how it could fit into your control room or whatever it is, right? So at the spot, they are asking about, okay, what are the appliances that I want to use, or rather, what are the equipment that I want to use? And you can show them, sir, there's a new equipment that's come, there's a new display that's come, or there's a new, something that's come, and then you immediately are able to show him at the spot, on site, how it looks like, right? So that comes to the next section. So the first one was design, right? And the second one that we're looking at is training. So pretty much like this training, or rather other trainings that you said, how many of you have sat for trainings? And what are the trainings that you've sat for? All the trainings, okay. Sales trainings, equipment training, and then if you have to certify for Avixa installation, or if you have to certify for any of the brands and their installation, then they get you. So what happens during training? You're called to say, someone calls you and say, hey, Mumbai, we are having a sales training, or we are having a programming training, or we are having any of those trainings, right? And then they do these road shows across the region, or they fly in from other countries. I remember we spent, back in my AV days, and that time there was no Extron AV specialist certification. There was some with Python programming happening in India. So we had to fly to Singapore for that, and we got certified in that, and we came back. But what I'm trying to come up with is that just imagine the amount of cost, right, that is involved in training. I'm sure Smita and the Hive team have set up all these, all this cost. It's not free, right? And even in there, I remember our earlier days of BIAM training. We used to come to Mumbai. They would take one of those hotels in Andheri, and then we used to do this BIAM training. So all of that cost, right? So one key factor in physical trainings is cost, right? Lots of hardware. The other types of trainings that we have are usually what? Online, right? You're sitting and looking at different sort of PPT kind of things, and then you're asked to answer some multiple choice at the end. How many of you have really understood what that PPT is talking about, or are you like guessing to finish the certification? I'm not confessing here or anything. I'm just saying, you know, that also happens, right? And a lot of trainings also end up being theory-based, right? If you have to look at books, you have to train and you look at this. So how does VR and AR support in that, right? And some of the pain points in is the cost, non-immersive and rote learning, right? So I'm just going to look at a bit about when you do VR training, right? According to PwC, people trained in VR are 2 to 4 times more likely to retain because they're immersed in that environment, right? So suppose I'm not doing a physical training because of a cost, and I'm just looking at PPTs versus I'm in an environment that is simulating that whole thing. This is how we connect, this is how we do, you know, and we are able to go through that. The immersiveness itself causes me to learn more because I have a connect with that training, right? So just look at the same, you know, the one that
Here we can
looked at
see that
earlier,
this
right?
single microphone doesn't offer enough coverage for all the seats. Let's add another microphone. And as you can see, it's perfect now. It's that.
So imagine if the training was like that, right? You came into a room and you were told, okay, what is the SPL level of this? And then you automatically adjust it, and then you see the coverage and you say, oh no, that coverage is not enough. Then you increase it. So because I'm doing it live as opposed to learning it, you know, most of our learning comes from, like, you know, books and say this measurement, that measurement, we have to calculate and all that, right? So if you have learning like this, suppose, you would retain better. You would understand more of what is SPL level, what is the dB, and the things that the coverage that you need for that, right? Another great example, or rather a use case for VR learning, right, is group learning, right? If you see in this particular case, all of this person, and that person are on VR headsets. These two are watching it on a display like you are, right? But there is an instructor. The first person is an instructor, right? And he is teaching them how to do certain things through VR. Now imagine how much cost you would save if you didn't have to fly to different places, if you didn't have to set up. You can be in your own room, or you can be in a nearby center which has VR headsets and connect together, right? Suppose AV brands started doing this. Suppose, you know, all your Crestron, Extrons, or whoever it is started doing this, right? You can watch this a bit.
Kind of start and get everyone's name, where you are, and what endpoint you're using. So
I'm Joe. I'm currently in Minneapolis using an HTC Vive headset.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm in Portland, Oregon using an HTC Vive.
I'm Michael Carter. I'm at Pixel Group, and I'm on a PC.
I'm Dominic Cudioni. I'm in Royal Oak, and I'm using a PC.
Okay, great. Glad to have everyone here. So first, I just want to point out this warehouse that we're standing within. It's an expansive warehouse. You can teleport around and explore it. But right now, let's
So you
just
can,
kind of look around.
you can
You'll see
have
that
this
there's
training,
different AI agents
say, for
doing,
example, in an
different
auditorium
jobs, different tasks,
setting,
just to kind of
right?
build ambience within the scene.
and there are multiple people,
but our main
including a
focus is going
trainer,
to be within this
and he's
area.
telling you, okay,
We're going to
design
be
for this, go to this
replacing,
spot,
these
find out what is
filter
the
membranes, and we're gonna be
levels
putting
that you have
them
to put,
into the
how many line
chamber
arrays you
over
have to
there.
put.
So if one of us was not able to complete these tasks or didn't know the step-by-step procedure, what we can do is I can actually bring up a guide.
Please locate and apply your personal protection equipment, or PPE, on the workbench. Simply grab the item and bring it towards your body to apply it.
So this guide would take us step by step through the process and procedure.
And
make
what
sure we
happens
did
after this
everything
is
correctly
they end up
with both audio
taking
cues
each
and
equipment,
visual
doing it in
representation.
front of
But
the
because I'm
instructor,
going to be taking us
and
through
he's able to
this,
guide them,
ourselves
right?
today, I'm just going to go ahead and close that for now.
You guys
so the
should
first step you
campaign
may have
for
saw, was to apply our
AV
personal
trainings
protection
to be like
equipment,
this.
or PPE, and that is demonstrated or visualized within this VR environment.
I'm going to go
by
ahead.
these work gloves.
Right? And this is in augmented reality. It's showing a rack and it's showing him exactly what to do and where to do it, right? So if we had a cable, a rack, then we can just use augmented reality to train that way also. And this can be remote also. Somebody can be sitting in Mumbai and training somebody who's sitting in Bangalore. And things will highlight. So this is all augmented reality. It's an actual physical space with a physical equipment, and it's having them to train this way. Yeah? Any questions so far? Are you bored? Not yet? Okay, fine. So the benefits in VR training is, A, it's immersive, so there's a lot more retention. We've done cost-benefit analysis where it says it is much more cost-effective, right? Beauty of this is asynchronous learning. What asynchronous learning means, I can go at any time and learn, right? As opposed to what happens in a larger format training, where people are called and we have to set up a booth, you have to set up equipment, you have to set up a lot of things. People have to take out time from their schedules and do that. Here, asynchronous learning allows people to train at any given point, right? Easy updation. If you wanted to update a module, you don't have to rewrite the whole thing. You can just update it on the fly, remotely, and things like that, right? So the last bit that we're going to cover today is support, right? How is support typically done these days in AMCs? Any answers? WhatsApp, yes. And a junior engineer, I've had that. We were doing it in a defense installation, and we were doing some programming. And I was a junior that time, like way back. And they don't allow you to take phones inside. And I really struggled to fix that issue because there was no phones allowed in that facility. But yeah, but that's exactly, you do WhatsApp, you ask, how do you do this? How is the cabling and those kind of support done? Like, what I remember is we go there, we look at schematics, we will look at, we'll take photos, we'll send it. Then there are these wire numbers that are there, cabling numbers. Then we'll match that with the other side, call from the other side, say, hey, what number is that? What number is this, right? And so what happens is you lose precious time. It's inefficient. Your support engineers are on site throughout. But suppose you moved that, right? And some of the pain points are this. See, inefficient and too intensive to identify cables and ports, right? Suppose you move that to something that is augmented, right? For example, coupled with IoT, automatically you get a notification which room, when you already have asset management, Crestron and all these have asset management now, right? So they will tell you what is the room and which is the issue and what is the issue. So what is the next step? So you need to go, say this network is down, but you go to the rack room and you look at that entire 5 racks and you don't know which port. Then you go look for schematics, you look for your some software which will have those numbers, then you match the numbers. But here you can see some interesting ways that they do this. So this is from Unify, and they scan that and automatically did you see that? Each port is labeled in augmented reality, which means I come there, and if you have an integrated system, so the asset management is telling you it is these ports, the the support engineer comes there, he scans the rack, and automatically he's shown which one is the one that he needs to identify and fix, right? So can you imagine the cost and the time saving in this kind of a setup, right? Person is just going immediately, he's not looking for, automatically is allowed to see which is the one that is faulty, and then he fixes, right? I'm sure most of you have used TeamViewer support. TeamViewer, yeah, for remote. So this is a feature in TeamViewer which you can use, which is annotation and remote support. So for example, if your support engineer is on site and he needs help, connecting via TeamViewer, you can also add on features to that, okay? And we'll see how they do that. So you can mark items. Anyone has used TeamViewer in augmented reality? No. So you can just see this, and this is another way that you can incorporate this into your
The world we live in has never been more connected. Now, you can use that same connectivity to help anyone, anywhere with any problem, no matter how complex. Subject matter experts can now be at many places at the same time, helping solve many different problems without having to get up from their workstations. TeamViewer Pilot AR-based technology and mobile app enables anyone in the field to get live, visual instructions from an expert sitting in another part of the world to solve complex problems and help critical outages. All you need is internet connectivity and the TeamViewer Pilot app. One simple installation can save your day.
Makes life easier, right? If at least a head of support could do this for the teams out there, take this, crimp this, red wire, white wire, whatever that we can think of, right? And also in terms of, having them view things, we usually take a photo or a video, then we'll take a screenshot, we'll mark it, send it back and forth. But augmented reality through TeamViewer helps this way, right? So how do I start? How can you make the difference, right, in your organization? Is that you need to start talking about these kind of technologies, which will help you do better, right? And for the organization also, if you're in a larger organization, for the organization to do better. It's cost effective, it's efficient in terms of design, in terms of training, and in terms of support, right? That's all I have for today. Any questions? All good? Like Abdul said, if there are no questions, either nobody understood anything or I explained it really well. Anyway, we can meet up after also. I'll be here for a bit, and you can ask further questions. My name is Sajan Joseph from Ctrl Alt Experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful session. It was really wonderful to have you here. And I will request my colleague to please give me the token of appreciation. Audience, can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Sajan Joseph?
Thank you.